Hello, Libras. This is your reading for the week of May 12th, or whenever this resonates. I like this one because what I'm seeing is you riding a dragon. And it makes me think of an old fantasy series I read many years ago called The Dragon Riders of Pern. And people were very blessed to be able to actually have a dragon imprint on them by being there when it's born. And then they become mates for the rest of their lives. Kind of the way you hear the stories about the people who take care of the elephants and how the elephant basically is a one-person animal. And they are bonded for life with their human. So in this case, what I see is, I love the dragon mythology, and there's so much about it that's magnificent. First of all, sacred mystical powers, primitive energy, magic, it's all of that. But if we want to take it from a really practical context and say, okay, what is the dragon? Is the dragon your mind and the way your mind can go rawr, and breathe fire at you? Or is the dragon an attitude, the negative things that fight against your well-being? Well, in this case, what I'm seeing is you have befriended the dragon. You haven't tamed it, you've befriended it. It is your buddy. So let's look at this and say, this is your mind, and your mind is your friend. Your thoughts sometimes are not, but your mind is your friend. And this is about you being able to befriend your mind as a functioning part of you, and realize that your mind, you have the choice. Your power is in choice. So you have the choice to be able to deal with whatever negative self-critical stuff comes up. And not just negative self-critical stuff, but beliefs and attitudes about lack, about victimization, about not being good enough. Anything that is about shame, about worrying about being, well, I suppose it's the same as not being good enough, but worrying about how you present and whether or not it's going to be approved of. All of those thoughts that undermine your sense of self-worth. Those are the things that you can choose. Once you befriend your mind, and your mind is your dragon, remember, your dragon has mystical powers and it's magical and it has great force in it. And it has the ability to move, not just through space, but through dimensions, because it's a magical creature, right? So I haven't seen, what is that, Game of Thrones, so I don't know how they present there. I'm talking about the dragons I know about. Oh, thank you. I just got that. Okay, so they can burn things down. They can burn things to the ground. So again, if this is your mind, if your dragon is your mind, which is what I feel it represents here, what you're being told is you can have calm focus and you can bring the energy in. You can use your mind to do that. And you can fiercely, passionately protect yourself by not just choosing positive triggers, although that's a very good one, but also by choosing not to be activated by negative triggers and not being around negative triggers if you know they're still going to trigger you, if you're still susceptible. Because we all go through phases and certain areas where we are more susceptible to certain kinds of things. And if we know it's going to take us down and undermine us, then what we need to do is protect ourselves so that we don't keep getting triggered and pulled down in while we're in the process of moving out of that whatever thought weakens us in that state. Okay? So it really is progressive, and it's like, don't put your hand on a hot stove if you don't want to get burned. Don't say, I should be able to tolerate this heat and pain, and I should be able to then heal my hand. No, just don't put your hand on the burner, okay? Now, going back to choice. Going back to choice and going back to the idea of your mind being your dragon. The dragon, in this case, I'm going to say, because it is your mind, and because it is a magical and multidimensional creature, What I feel like you're being told here, and I'm feeling it because I'm being told it now, is that please be aware of the fact that your mind is living and moving in more dimensions than just your conscious awareness perceives. And that you can call on those parts of you that are associated with that, your higher conscious mind, your heart, your true heart, your sacred heart, the heart that is connected to the dimension of spirituality beyond the earth plane. That sounds highfalutin, but it's really based in the idea that we are all here learning and growing. And that as part of some of the grief that we go through and the sadness that we go through, Libra, it's also really understanding that it's once we really can, what is grief? Grief is an emotion that's associated with the first loss, the loss of the knowing of who we are essentially at a spiritual level. It's that belief that we're disconnected from the divine, which of course is erroneous. We cannot be disconnected from the divine because we are part of the divine. So I feel as though you are being really asked to, if there is grief, if there has been grief and it's not resolved, this is something that you can use as a way to open your heart, to really look deeply and to expand your sense of life and what life is and what life means and the life in you, who you are. Because it is magical. It is like the dragon. It's more magical than the dragon. Sorry, dragon. And that remembering we are all innocent creatures here. This is, if what you need to do in order to be able to, this might be one of the big elements that the dragon can conquer for you, and that is the belief that there is no healing from grief and the belief that forgiveness is not possible, because it is. So I think that you might be encouraged at this point in time, based on what's coming up here, to realize in the big picture, the concept that I've already described in terms of dragon and concepts in the mind, but also if there's something going on in the immediate sense for you, which I think it might be because of these cards that have come up, that if there is a sense of grief, of loss, if there is a sense of blame, or if there is a sense of needing to forgive something, including yourself, you're being asked to take it into that level of higher consciousness. We are all here to learn and grow. What can this sorrow teach me? I saw a beautiful, beautiful little clip on YouTube of Stephen Colbert and, what was his name? Can't remember. Talking about loss and the gratefulness for hardships. And it was so beautifully said. And so if that's something that interests you, check it out. Gosh, what was his name? I can't remember. He's a journalist. But look for Stephen Colbert and his topic, his subject on loss and pain as a gift. Because it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And he can say it better than I can right now. So I'm going to leave you with that, Libra, because I think this is really very important. Oh, and there's the abandonment thing. Okay, is there some aspect, some of you, are you going through some experience around abandonment? Because if you are, there you go. You need to know that you have the power to be able to get through whatever situation you're going through, and that your power comes from knowing who you are, not from figuring everything out and forcing it with your mind. Move into, and now I understand the dragon too, move into the power of the dragon. Use the power of the dragon, your mind, to move you through whatever sense of abandonment or powerlessness you've been feeling, to move inward to that understanding that you are as multidimensional as the dragon. Your dragon, your mind, as your mind, you have the ability to use the powerful dragon of your mind to calm your thoughts, to be conscientious and clear about what you're saying and feeling and saying, and also making sure that you're keeping around the positive triggers and not getting the other stuff, negative stuff activated. So there's a few different things going on here, but I'm not going to repeat it because then it's just going to be twice as long. I think it will make sense when I listen back to it. I hope so. Take care, Libra.